guys, Jim back with another video of Mastercam 2022, and in this video I will continue with the part 2 of video 2 of 2 of 3 axis parts. So let's get started. So in last video I showed you, so basically in the first part of the video I showed you that how we can make a wireframe and then make it into a solid of what you can see on my screen right now. From here, in this video I will show you how to do the programming on this one. So the fundamentals are always the same. You go to machine, so this is the mill part, you click on default, then you go to properties and give like stock properties and all kinds of stuff. You can always give a tool number 1112 in this case. From material, that's what I select from tools, not a big deal if you all already know the feed and speed, so go with whatever you prefer. You click on all these parameters. Material, I personally prefer to choose 6061 just for the references that I'm slightly aware of how to work with that material. Inches, you can see my configuration is already in inches. I don't need to change anything in that. I already have a solid. I can just click on bounding box. I can select the entire thing and end selection right here. Click OK. I have the parameters right here. I can add some material. So from 3 inches I'm going to put it 3.25 just to add like 1/8 on each side. Then similarly from 4 to 4.25. On thickness, either you can add 0.125 or you can also add 0.25, which will make it to be 1 inch. Nothing on x-axis, nothing on y-axis. On z-axis I always keep 20 thou because we have to face it off, right? So 20 thou for facing. And here you can see that I'll go on my front view. You can see I've kept, so wherever the origin is right here, if I go on my front view, you can see that there is 20 thou left for facing operation that I'm keeping just to make it flat. So now because I went from isometric top to isometric front, you will see my also the planes, the construction planes have changed as well. So I need to move them back to the top plane, and now it will be easier for me to execute with any operation or tool path that I'm going to start with. So now let's get started with making the operation. We have the stock material and everything. So first of all, the very first operation, just like always, facing. Click on face. You don't need to select any entity, just click OK. The tool that we are going to use is face mill. Obviously 3 inches standard that I use. One feed rate, I'm going to go with the one that I'm used to be keeping for now, that I have just over my head for a while I was studying in school, you can say. Zigzag approach distance, you can keep 50%, 25%, not that big of a deal. Approach distance 25%. Step over, I try to keep like 50%. Stock to leave on floor is important, that should be 0 all the time. Depth of cut, if you want to turn it on, sure, be my guest, not that big of a deal. Linking parameters, you need to turn on, and I tend to keep all of them in absolute, and also use my use clearance only at the start and the exit of the operation, because it makes my tool paths more effective and efficient and saves my time. So top of stock is going to be 0.02 because I've kept 20 thou above the stock. Feed plane is always 100 thou above the top of the stock, so 100 thou plus 20 thou is going to be 120 thou, so 0.12 right here. Retract, I'm going to keep 0.25. Not generally, retract is about 100 to 150 thou above the feed plane, but it's going to be really close to 0.25, so I'm just going to call it a quarter. All of them are absolute. Depth is 0. Planes, just make sure all of them are on top. Coolant should be on, and other parameters are always fine. not that big of a deal. You can see it's really good, looks really good. So it's cutting from this side. Yep. So the next is going to be, so I'm done with one operation, so I can get rid with the extra material on the side. I will go with contour. I can use contour, always contour, that's what I use right here. Tool, I'm going to use end mill, the bull end mill with 1/8 as a rad. You can also use 0.0625, 1/16 as a rad. Feed rate, so these feed rate, in one of the comments that I saw, that these feed rates are chosen because of the fact that I chose in terms of the tool setting properties, or under the file properties, that okay, you need to select from material, not from the tool. So that's why I choose according to the material. So these numbers are basically the best guess from Mastercam software to tell you guys that okay, this is what Mastercam thinks the feed and speed should be to cut this kind of material, which is aluminum 6061. But you need to be more knowledgeable about what feed and speed do you think are preferred, and also depending on the tool that you're using and what kind of quality are you using. If your tool cannot take the impact, so definitely the tool will break. Rapid retract, I don't want to waste time in retracting again and again. Cutting parameter, I will keep 10 thou on the wall for the finishing. And depth of cut, this need to be turned on, so that because this is a roughing contour that we are doing right now, so half of the tool diameter, the tool we are using is 1/2 inch, so this one is good. Lead in, lead out, I tend to turn off the enter exit midpoint. I will show you what's the difference if I add and when I don't. I'm just going to add for now and show you what's going to be difference if I don't. 25%, 25% on both sides, and 0.1, but the tool is big enough, so I will go for like 0.25 just to have the overlap perfectly aligned. Breakthrough, sure, why not, about 100 thou. Multipass, no. Link in parameters, all clearance, all absolute. Top of stock is going to be 0 because spacing is already done. Feed plane is going to be 100 thou. Use clearance only at the start and end of the operation. Absolute. Depth, you can select it manually right here, negative 0.75. We have already added the breakthrough, so we are good to go. But also we have also kept some extra material, so you can increase the breakthrough amount to 0.25 if you want to clear the entire thing right there. Then you have all of top plane, and then the coolant should be turned it on. There we go. So you can see the wireframe is inwards. I just come to know because I can see the tool path pointing inwards, so it should be an outward motion. Chain side, the arrow is outwards, and now I regenerate it. There we go. So it's cutting the way I am looking to. So now I'm just going to copy this operation, copy and paste it. Sometimes it doesn't show, just control V. Geometry is the same, everything else is the same. I just need to get rid of that 10 thou that I've left in cutting parameters on the wall, make it 0. Everything else is, so depth of cut I don't need, turn this off. Breakthrough is on. Multipass, I can turn multipass to on, and for finishing I can make the last few cuts. So basically 10 thou were left. I'm going to keep 2 cuts of 5 thou each and keep tool down. It helps you to have a better finish on the depth as well. Plane, coolant on right there. So if I go on top view right now and I click on, if I change the lead in and lead out, I'm just going to turn off for this one. I'm going to go for this one and see if I turn this off, Okay, the second one I turn the second one on, and I turn the third tool path wireframe the generation off. So I just want to have a look at what's going to be the difference if I change the parameters for lead in and lead out from exit enter to exit point. You can also click here. Alrighty, you see it moved from the middle to the very extreme where the actual arrow of the wireframe exists. So if I go to isometric view, you can see that right here the arrow ends up here, so that's why it will automatically shift toward the very end. That's why the part came out to be towards the middle, not on the side. It affects the part finish, especially when we have an overlap of whatever the amount that you have kept. What we have kept is half of the tool diameter, so that is really important. You generally don't need to keep that high. About 100 thou 150 thou is good enough. That's what I keep. Even if I need to change the parameter, that's not that big of a deal. You can always change the overlap to 100 thou and turn this on so that we have it in the middle. 100 thou in the middle. Yeah, that looks better. We have the finishing, everything is good. I'm also going to turn this one on. There we go. Now we have the finishing as well. So going for the other operations, we are done with the facing. We have two contours finished off the sides. So now we can get into the material as well now. So the first two operations that I will be working with is making sure that this material is cut out. So now we know that the depth on these two slots are different. They're not the same. This one I think was 0.125 deep, and this one is quarter inch deep. So we need to have two different operations, but we can use the same operation, copy paste, and change the wireframe to make both of them work. So first we can use pocket, obviously, to reach to that depth, and then by avoiding the centerpiece right here to that depth, and then we can think of doing the same thing for this pocket as well. So without wasting time, so let's see. I click on pocket. They are asking me to choose the wireframe. I'm going to choose this and this as well, because I want to avoid this cutting and cutting off the entire other region. Click OK. I'm just going to verify the tool path. Looks good to me for now. Half-inch bull. You can also use half-inch flat. Half-inch flat. 0.5. Half-inch flat. And I'm going to just keep them all the same. Rapid retract. Force tool change. Cut parameters. Stock to leave on wall. I'm going to keep it 10 thou. Just for the finishing contour that I will be using. On floor always 0. That's what I keep. Looks good. Roughing. Constant overlap spiral. Step over 25 thou is 25% is good enough. Entry motion minimum radial you can keep 20%, because you're telling it to actually make the helix when you are coming in. So that's the minimum, and this is the maximum radial. So Z clearance, like how much depth do you want it to go? I'm pretty sure 100 thou is not that big of a deal for such a big tool. For small tools you have to reduce this number, but for this it's fine. Finish, you can turn this off if you don't need to, because we are just trying to get rid of the most amount of material that we could. Or one pass spacing 125. Yeah, I'm just going to keep one pass for when the spacing reach around like 1/8. We still have some material. Laid in, laid out, no need. Depth of cut, not really. We don't even need it can just cut, because eventually the tool is already half inch, and the depth of this thing right here is 0.125, so it can easily go in one shot and start cutting the entire thing. Breakthrough, always turn it off because you have a specific depth that you want to cut to. Linking parameters, all values in absolute. Top of stock, if you're not aware, just click on it, 0, and the depth that you want to, click on the depth, which is right here at the base, negative 1.125. Feed plane, use retract planes, all top, coolant, always turn it on, click OK. There you go, you can see right here. I just want to see like how the cutting takes place. I'm gonna turn it on. Oh, the tool is really big. I think for here, for the side, it's not going to be able to cut, so that's why. Yep, okay, it eventually made a cut that I can see. We can just verify once to be on the safe side, to make sure that everything is working fine till now. NCI data right there, not an issue. Okay, no problem. Verify it again right there, and we have our first verification of this program. So always turn the stop condition to be collision, and I personally try to keep color loops just for my personal preferences. Collision on, this reduction precision slightly high so that I know what's happening. Okay, okay, this is what we wanted. That's not that big of a deal, but this one is an issue. So we have, because the radius that we put, I think, was 0.125 as the fillet radius, so it's, the tool is 0.5, half an inch, so the radius is going to be 0.25, so it's still double the radius that we have on the edge. So there are two ways: either we can change the tool for the roughing, or what we can do is we can, because this material is literally 1/8 of an inch, is almost nothing, and easily the tool that we will be using now, which is going to be 1/4 inch, can easily take it out while we are doing the finishing operation. So that's what I'm planning to do. So the 1/4 inch tool will chip out this extra material and also be responsible to take away this 10 thou that I have left in 2 passes, and also this material left in here. So that so far is pretty good. So far so good. So now I'm just going to copy the third operation right here. Control C, make sure the red icon is below. Control V, I go to the geometry, right click, rechain all, make sure you select the wireframe correctly, the middle one as well, click OK. So now you have, make sure the arrows are chain side inwards, that makes sense now. And now you change the parameters as well, and also the tool. So almost everything is going to be changed for this particular operation. We are going to use 1/4, which is a quarter, 0.25 flat, 1/4 flat end mill, and stock to leave should be 0. Depth of cut, you can turn it on if you want to, if you're not sure. Lead in, lead out, 25.25. Breakthrough should be off. Multipass, yeah, multipass is going to be on in this case. So there are going to be 2 passes of 5 thou each, because I left 10 thou for the roughing, from the roughing. Linking parameters, everything else looks good. Depth is going to change. I can select the point, which is going to be right here. There we go. Negative 0.125. Plane top, all of them top. Flood should be on. There we go. Backlot. There we go. Beautiful. There we go. Looks beautiful. That's exactly what we wanted. So 2 passes, cutting 5 thou each because we left 10 thou in the pocket. We can verify once again if you want to. Select all of them, verify, and going to fast track it. There we go. Ooh, I see. You see, in here as well, it's because of the lead in and lead out values, and also right here the lead in and lead out as well. Everything else it looks good. We chipped out the extra material that was on side. It's just the lead in lead out values need to be played with a little bit here and there, just to make sure that we don't leave any imprint. Okay, this is good. I just need to play with the lead in and lead out values. Lead in, lead out, lead in, lead out, right there. Let's see. And if I turn entry exit midpoint in close counter off, it will try to start from somewhere else, and overlap is fine. Okay, now I think it should be better. Okay, first, second. Okay, okay, that looks better to me for some reason. Retract is good, everything else is good. Okay, I think the markers are just going to stay for no reason, but you can see like from the side it is flat now. It's just like some of the marking just on the floor of the depth. I think it could be because of the graphics. So I'm pretty sure so far we are good. And also like there is some material left right here. We can just increase the depth if we have already realized what the issue is. I'm just going to increase the contour depth, the breakthrough value to be 0.3, just to let everything out. Similarly, parameters for the contour, sorry, 0.3. Same for the pocket. Oh, sorry, not for the pocket, for the contour right here as well. No, everything is good. So I made some changes now. There we go. Looks good. So I'm going to do the same exact thing for this particular surface as well. Yep, that looks beautiful. What I can do is I'm just going to copy operation 4, Control C, Control V, and change the chains. Right click, rechain all. I'm going to chain this right here, and literally like I don't need to care about cutting till what depth, so I can just take everything out. Well, indeed, what I could have done is I could have taken both of them at a certain depth of 0.125 and then cut the entire thing. But see, whatever the way you think is good, it's all up to you. You can have one operation to be specific for one side and then proceed with the second one depending on your requirement, and also the availability of the tool that you have. I rechained it. The arrow looks fine for me now. Tool, I can use half inch, good enough. Stop to leave, 10 thou, roughing, spiral, everything else is going to be exactly the same that was before. Lead in, lead out, link in parameters. Link in parameter is going to change now because the depth have changed. Breakthrough should be off, plane, coolant should be on, good enough. Yep, there we go. It looks good. I'm going to do the same thing with the contour. I'm going to Control C and press Control V right here. Going to rechain all, right click, rechain all. I'm going to select the wireframe, click OK, click OK, change the depth, everything else is going to be the same. Go to link in parameters, depth, click here. There we go, we have automatically selected there. Planes are good, cut parameters are good. Right here we have almost most of them doing good. Yeah, we can verify it once again. There we go, beautiful finish, not an issue. Yep, looks good. Isometric, good enough for now. And now I will go with the slot in the middle that we have. We can go with pocket, we can also go with dynamic milling, or we can also, let's try slot milling today. Slot, they're asking me to choose a slot. Which one is it? Okay, what is this line? Okay, that's weird. Okay, selecting for the wireframe. This is the wireframe that I have to select. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the solid. For the slot mill, I'll select the solid. Click on solid. Right there. There we go. This is the one that I'm going to select. Tool, I'm going to use 1/2 inch bull, just for the fact that we are also going to be responsible for doing some plunging. Force tool change. Cutting parameter, I'm going to keep on floor 0, no material. On wall 10,000, good enough. Tip compensation, everything else looks good. Overlap, overlap can be a questionable thing. That distance, I'm not sure like how much was the thickness of this slot. Analyze entities. Just the radius is good enough for me to know. It says 0.5, so yeah, it's going to be okay. So 0.5, I cannot use 0.5 tool to cut exact 0.5. I need to make it slightly, I need to have a tool that is slightly shorter than this. So we will be using 3/8 instead of 1/2 inch for this one. So I'm going to use 3/8 pull, which is 0.375 right here. Click OK. And 0.625, good enough. Not going to change the feet and speeds. Overlap now I can say about 100,000 is good enough. Finishing rough, step over 50% is fine. Depth of cut, I'm going to turn this on because it's going to cut a lot of material again and again. Breakthrough should be on, yeah. I'm going to keep it 0.3. That's what we have been keeping so far. Absolute, all of them. Top of stock 0. No, sorry, top of stock should be this value. And depth is going to be right here, negative 0.75. Good. Plane all top of them. There we go. Isometric. Click on it. Let's see what's the wonder here for the slot. Yeah, there we go. Looks good to me. And I think the depth is way too much that we have selected. But yeah, the stock material that we have kept is way too much as well. So it's good. Not that big of a deal. Isometric. Yeah, we can use the counter again. Copy it, paste it, change the geometry, right click, rechain all. Going to select this one, change the direction. Yeah, for climb milling, we change the geometry. We are going to go to parameters, change the tool as well. We can use 1/4 inch if we want to, 1/4 inch flat. Sure, not that big of a deal. We just need to get some material off our way. So depth of cut, I'm going to turn it off. Lead in, lead out, 25% good enough. Breakthrough, sure. 0.25 is good enough as well. 2 for 5, yeah, good. Top of stock in this case is going to be right here, negative 0.25. Depth is going to be negative 0.75. Plane, coolant, good enough. There we go. I think the wireframe is in the opposite direction. Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, looks good. Everything looks good. Not an issue with this one. So I'm done with most of the part. Now the scenario that is going to come in here is the drills that are left. So all the drills that are going to be made are going to be right here. I'm just going to verify that the size, if we can possibly make most of them in one shot. Analyze entities. This, all these four are the same. So 0.25 is this one. What about this one? This one is 0.25 as well. So all the smaller ones can be done in one shot. We don't need to worry much about that. Isometric. Now it's time to drill. So first it's going to be center drill. So it's asking me which one do I want to make to start with. So I'm going to start with the small ones. Alrighty, I'm going to start with these ones right here. Okay, all of them have different depth though. These ones have different depth, these one have different depth, so it's not going to be viable for me to use the same depth for center drill at least. For other ones I can. For center drill I just need to make sure that I select, control and select right here. No, I don't want that. I don't want to select all of them. No, 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 not at all. I'm going to exit it out, say no to this one for now. Drill again. I'm going to, you know what, I'm just going to hide all the selected operations first. That's most important. Hide all of them, make my life a little bit easier. Now I can do the drill operation. Slightly easier for me now. Select this one. Select this one. Then I want to cut this one and then this one. But before that I need to make sure that I have this written out of my way. That's really important to make sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the pocket operation first for getting rid of these small holes right here on the top. I'm just going to get rid of these small holes, these big holes first, and then work on the small ones. That makes more sense to me, because otherwise center drill will be basically working as a normal drill and cutting out a lot of material, which we don't want, because that center drill will be messed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, you can also use pocket, not a big deal, because this material is still going to be there. So this material right there, all four of these needs to be at a certain depth. So tool should be small. I need to make sure the tool is small, so 1/4 will work as well. Stock to leave on floor, I'm just going to do it in one shot. It's very less material to work with. Step over should be less as well, because there's no room. Finishing, I'm going to have one pass of 5 thou. That would be good enough. Lead in, lead out, I can turn it on, but obviously it's so small thickness to work with, it's going to be really hard for it to go. Linking parameters need to change. Stock thickness, top of stock, this depth is going to be right there, looks good. Plane, top, coolant on. There we go. Looks fine to me. I mean, that's how it should be. Yeah, yeah. I did it twice just for the fact that I wanted to have a little bit of better finishing once it goes away. So it looks fine to me. So now we can, because I compressed both roughing and finishing operation in one shot just by giving some room for 5 thou as a finishing pass, and now I can actually go for the drilling operations as well. So now we have the flexibility, get back to drills. So now I can just simply go ahead and choose just the way I was trying to. Second, third, and fourth right here. 0.25. Tool right there. We have the drills. 0.25, 1/4 drill. Yeah, that's what we are looking for. I'm not going to change any parameter. Cutting, back drill. That's exactly what we are going to use. We are going to have all absolute values. Top of stock, I'm going to justify this one. First of all, tool. Before that, well, I remember this is the center drill that we are trying to do, not just a drill. Oh, center drill. 0.25 center drill. Yeah, we will use center drill, not the other one. Dwell, I'm going to say okay, you can have dwell for like almost 0.06 seconds. Go for it. Clearance about 2 inches. Retract. Well, what's the top of the stock in here? Right here, negative. So 0.2 is also good enough. I'm just going to keep it the same, 0.25 for all of them. Depth is going to be this particular face. Actually 0.25, perfect. Tip composition should be off, plane should be all top, coolant should be on. You can also make sure display collisions or check collisions. Okay, all of them looks good. Looks good to me as well. So there we go. I'm going to save it. Just going to black plot and have a look how it cuts. Yes, there we go. Yeah, cutting it slightly, just a little bit of a chuck. I'm going to make sure how it cuts in real time as well with the verify. I'm going to cut extra material, all chop of it, and okay, we don't have it. Okay, the last operation we don't have the thickness. Oh, now I see. Now I see. This is for the center drill. I forgot. Top of stock. It's going to be this one. Yeah, and depth is going to be this minus 0.25. 0.25. So basically 0.5. There we go. That makes more sense to me now. Now it will be visible. Isometric right there. There we go. We have that. Yep. 0.25 minus 0.25 looks good. We have the center drill. Now we can just go for a final drill. I'm just going to copy the 11th operation and paste it. Oh, I think it copied all the 11. Oh, that's a mess. Okay, I'm going to delete these ones. I'm going to select all these. This and facing as well. There we go. There we go. You're back on the top, and this is the only one that I want to copy and paste. There we go. Center drill. Now the entities are going to be the same. It's just the tool that I'm going to change. So entities are the same. Tool 1/4 drill right here. There we go. Everything else is going to be the same. Yeah, just the tip compensation, this is through all. I can increase to 0.3 just like we have been keeping for all of them. Plane is going to be the same, coolant is going to be on, click OK. So it's going to be pectoral. Just have a look how it's going to cut. Okay, need to check the parameters once again. Link in parameters, top of stock right here, negative 0.25. Depth, oh okay, now makes sense. Right here, negative 0.75, and addition. Looks good, good enough. I'm going to do the same thing on here. I can just simply copy the pectoral, Control C and Control V, change the geometry, delete all. Okay, I'm just going to click here, this one, this one, this one, and this one right here, 0.25, all of them. Yep, and before this I'm also going to bring the center drill of for this one. Control C and Control V here. There we go. So I'm going to change these parameters as well. Delete all. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Looks good. Now let's change the entities. Sorry, the parameters for this one. All these. Top of stock for this one is going to be right here now, and the depth is going to be at the very end, right there. Good enough. Tip compensation 0.3 right there, and I don't need to care about anything else. Everything looks good to me. Coolant is on. Yep, everything else is on. Now I'm going to move the red point lower. Similarly, the parameters are going to change again. Link in parameters right there, top of stock right there. Depth should be at the bottom. Tip compensation 0.3, good enough. Control S, isometric, and we have, I think we are done. Let's see, we have like 14 operations till now. We went really quick on this one. Yeah, like basically that's pretty much it. Yeah, that was comparatively really easy and fast that we completed it. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to subscribe channel and share the videos, and stay tuned for upcoming new videos. Thank you for watching. Take it easy.